Hello everyone, very good afternoon. Hope you all had a look on the previous video. We are talking about middle adulthood and we began with the sensory and psychomotor development that takes place during the middle adulthood. And in our previous video, we were talking about the sensory and sensory impairments, especially focused on the vision and hearing impairment. We looked into how these two impairments are much more evident in our day-to-day life than the other kinds of impairment that we are going to talk about in this video. So, as we all know, as we age, our vision diminishes, and this is much easily evident to people around us. So, we will be wearing glasses, lens. Sometimes it's always recommended to use glasses which are more safer than the lens. So, we have great exposure to hearing impairment because of the loud noises, the traffic, honking of horns, sounds, and much more because of the earphones that we use in a very high volume. So this is what we spoke about in our last video. So now let's move on to the other kinds of impairment that takes place during the middle adulthood. So of course, before that, I would like to say this to you all. Yeah, you could see there is a board again and there is no visibility of the text. So, I have not written anything on the board that is to be conveyed to you. However, just a few points jotted down for myself. And with this video, as you girls receive this from me, you will also receive the PDF which has it's my handwritten notes. It would help you like transcription. So whatever I'm explaining to you in this video could be used along with the PDF, so that you can have this goes hand in hand, in fact. So I would suggest you all to switch on this split screen and then watch a video and look through the PDF so that it would be much helpful for you all. So let's begin. So, sensitivity to taste and smells. So, we all know these things are not much evident, right? We don't find this in a day-to-day life. We don't give heed to these kind of things in our day-to-day life. But then these things do happen during the middle adulthood. So, sensitivity to taste. So, our taste buds lose their ability to sense that sensitivity is lost. We used to, we all have the ability to sense the sour, sweetness, bitter, everything in a very accurate manner during our early adulthood, adolescence, childhood. But then this sensitivity to taste is lost as we age. So this is one of the things that that might lead to cause of fight at home. So, moving on to the olfactory. What do you mean by olfactory? It is something related to the sensitivity to smell. Even that diminishes with age. So, in a completely, at a home, you would, as kids, you all must be suffering from the fight of your parents, where a father might be complaining to you regarding your mother, saying, maybe she has lost her ability to cook well. She doesn't know how proportionately she need to use salt and chili in the curry so that it fits fine for us to eat. But then you don't find that great difference in the taste. You see that it's pretty fine. There is no much difference in the taste of the food that mom used to prepare. But then this is very evident to your father, not to your mother. And at times maybe your mother would be like, she has a different sensitivity for the taste and she cooks as per her taste, because she is the one who would be tasting the curry first to make sure that it is all right. Then she makes sure that you all have a good supper, a good meal in general. So when this happens, she adjusts the taste as per her requirement. When your parents are in middle adulthood, see, the taste sensitivity of male and female differs. So this might lead to a fight at home. So wherein your father would say that I cannot taste a particular ingredient, whereas mom says if I add a little more of it, it would be too much. So I don't think it's required. So at the end of the day, it's the one who cooks. They are more, they carry on the privilege that this is perfect and you don't know how to cook, you so don't complain and don't comment. So this is what happens. However, saying like a woman might lose a sweet tooth, she might not feel the sweetness anymore that she used to feel, so she would want to have some more sugar. Whereas a man feels that no, there is enough of sugar. Why do you need to add on little more? So these are things happening. It's basically very individualistic. It's not particular, it is not general, it's individual. And the study says that women could retain their sweet taste sensitivity longer than men do. Whereas men lose their taste sensitivity very soon when compared to women. So this is a basic idea regarding the taste sensitivity and also the olfactory sensitivity, that is the ability to smell. It diminishes over time. So this was a complete understanding about the taste and olfactory sensitivity during the middle adulthood. Let's look into the loss of sensitivity to touch and pain. So what do you understand by this? Don't we feel the touch and pain after we age? Is it so? Does this question mean that you lose your sensitivity to touch and pain just because you're aging? Don't you think the elderly people at your home do feel the pain? Don't you think so? Definitely they do feel the pain. But then sensitivity to touch is lost by the age when we reach 45. Again, it's subjective. It's not completely general ideology. However, it's a subjective thinking, subjective outlook. But then this sensitivity is lost for a good. So with the age progress, when people reach the age 50, so they lose that sensitivity to pain. So it must be a good thing, right? You don't sense pain anymore. But then pain is not something which is bad. If you look into evolutionary psychology, pain is a gift of mankind. If you don't sense the pain, it is very harmful for your survival. Your survival is at risk because pain is something that makes you give attention to a particular ailment that has taken place. So during the earlier times when people used to live in forests, they had a hypersensitivity to pain. So they might get cut when they walk through the woods, they might get their leg hurt, or they might fall, they might bleed, they do not know. If we did not have this sensitivity to pain, we would not give any attention to these cuts and wounds on our body. When we don't give attention to such cuts and wounds on our body, we would neglect those things and we move on. Blood flows, that is, will bleed, and this might not be helpful for us. So it's not just a cut. Maybe cut might get healed, but then if the cut is too deep, there is no point of healing without the aid from the outside. So this pain is very much important. Then when we say that we lose sensitivity to pain, how is that helpful? As we age, we need to be more careful about our own body and about the way we carry ourselves, right? So when we say when the sensitivity to pain is lost, it is basically that you try to, your body doesn't take things more, like when we are kids, if we touch a fire, we are more sensitive to that. Whereas if your mom in her middle ages, if she puts her hand to a hot stove, she doesn't feel that pain, which she used to feel, or which you feel as an adult or an adolescent. But then the sensitivity has diminished. But then here, another factor also plays a very important role, that is when your sensitivity to touch or sensitivity to pain is reduced, you can take only little pain. You cannot take more pain. So this is also a counterback for you as you age. So this is also a factor that is least observed during the middle adulthood. because we always focus on whichever things which are evident to people. So we hardly notice these things in our day-to-day life. We hardly notice that we have lost the ability to sense the taste of a food. We don't give much importance to the olfactory sensitivity, because these things pay very little emphasis in our life, very little emphasis in our day-to-day life. If we lose sensitivity to these things, they will not damage much in our life. So it is much less emphasized, less prioritized when compared to vision and hearing, which causes greater hindrance in our day-to-day living. So let's move on to the next topic under the same section, that is sensitivity towards strength and coordination. So we spoke about the sensitivity to taste and olfactory. We spoke about sensitivity towards touch and pain. So now let's move on to strength and coordination. So as we age, we lose our muscle strength. We used to be very energetic, very enthusiastic, and we can move mountains if we want to during our adolescence and early adulthood. These things are very much high during our 20s and last till 30s, and it slowly diminishes as we reach our mid 30s, that is 35 and above. So it says we are aging, we are approaching our 40s, right? So most of us would lose our strength or the muscle coordination by the age we reach 45. 10 to 15% maximum strength may be gone by 60. So you could say that about 10 to 15% of strength is gone by the time we reach the age of 60 years. Most people may notice weakness, fragile, fatigueness in their body, and this continues for long until we reach the age 60. It is in its peak. So now, why do you think this happens? So what might be the reason for this? So if you look into the reason point of view of why people lose their muscle strength during their middle adulthood, and they possess a great muscle strength during their adolescence and adulthood. This is because of the only one factor, that is the fat accumulation. As we age, our body body welcomes more fat when compared to the adolescence and early adulthood. We are not much open to fats. This happens because the muscle body has increased its capacity to welcome fat items or fat accumulation in the body, which was only 10% during our adolescence and which has hiked up, increased to 20% during the middle adulthood. This is the only reason why the muscles strength is reduced and body fat mass is been increasing all these years during the middle adulthood. So we also have to talk about the endurance. We have to talk about the mechanical dexterity. We have to talk about the little things like how these things affect. So we are talking about muscles, the muscle strength. We are talking about how an individual is able to lift the heavy loads, how people are able to feel that they are at ease. We are able to walk very nice and very relaxed manner. Even if we walk for 2-3 kilometers now, it's okay. We don't feel that fatigue. But when we reach our middle adulthood, we would definitely feel fatigue. We feel weak, but then this is not with everybody. So that it means you have to train your body to a certain extent then, right? So basically you can see policemen, athletes, they are fit and fine even in their middle adulthood. That means they have not allowed fat accumulation in their body, and they are more careful about their muscle coordination, muscle strength, so they can live a healthier life even in their middle adulthood with all these drawbacks. So they are able to combat their drawbacks and work functionally, right? So with that, let's look about the endurance of muscles. So we have a terminology here, that is basal metabolism. The basal metabolism, the use of energy to maintain the vital functioning. This is a very important terminology that need to be referred in terms of endurance. Endurance here is the individual's ability to work, progress. Like as we age, we get knee pain, we get aches in our legs and hands, we develop very different kinds of ailments related to our physical body. These things are increasing. This is because of this phenomena. So when this is into picture, when this phenomena is working, that is basal metabolism has reduced, functionability is reduced, we can't progress well with our physical body. But this is seen very less among the athletes, because they are being on the motion, they are on the move all the time. They have not diminished their physical activities as compared to normal you and me, if you are not athletes then. So if we are not athletes, that doesn't mean that we can't keep on our physical functioning well. We need to maintain a proper diet, we need to function in a right manner, we need to get into our food so that it will be helpful for us to keep functioning our body in a right way, right? So this is what is very much required during middle adulthood, so that we can reach our 60s with same enthusiasm. And then comes the muscle dexterity. So muscle dexterity or manual dexterity, you have two terms for this. So what do you mean by dexterity? The word dexterity is the ability to do something. It's something related to aptitude. When it comes to industrial psychology, it is mostly it's aptitude of an individual. You will have maybe in your paper of industrial psychology, you will have this. You will have an experiment on mechanical dexterity. This is usually given, this test is administered to hire the pilots, mechanical engineers, so that you'll know their orientation, what their orientation towards the machines are, how well they are able to coordinate when they are on the aeroplanes. So these things are very much important for to be tested. And if you are administering the interest inventory, when you are guiding a child or say an adolescent to choose his career, so you will be guiding them based on their aptitude as well as their interest. So the interest and aptitude, when it coordinates with each other, it would definitely give a successful career for you, for that individual whom you are guiding. So it's very much required. So you take an interest inventory, you also take a aptitude test. If it matches well, then it gives a good product. So when in that terms, this dexterity is measured, but here the manual dexterity is the muscle dexterity is the manual power or the ability of an individual to work and function as effectively as he used to be. So this all things are focused mainly on the individual's sensory functioning, how well an individual can function in his day-to-day living. So let's look into the systematic and structural changes that takes place in an individual's body and how they feel about themselves, how their life is viewed by others, and what are the changes that takes place in their sexual apparatus during their middle adulthood, how the lifestyle has changed from past to now, and what is menopause. All these things we are going to deal in our next video. Thank you.